tournament postseason time Monday. And also, it is a Monday of new beginnings. Day one of spring practice of Coach Scott Satterfield era. Chad Brennan was on site. And of course, it is also another Monday after the NFL Combine with numerous Bearcats in attendance. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring in the guys, the pals, the group, all of us here ready to talk everything Bearcats that's happened. A lot's happened over the last week as March Madness is waiting. Without further ado, it's Aaron Smith, Chad Brendel, Ryan Royer. Gentlemen, all three of you, how are we? Chad, how are we, man?
I am getting video from the first day of spring ball up on YouTube.
Ooh!
And I'm working on notes. I'm doing a podcast. I'm uploading video. Some people out there feel that I don't do enough for the Bearcat Journal community, so I'm doing a little extra to that.
You do not, man. Come on, dude. You weren't the first to tweet a couple things, Come on, man. But Chad, it sounds like you are busy and good. Can't wait to hear about practice via the spoken word here later on in the pod. But Aaron, how are we, man? The internet is back, and you are in high spirits.
I'm good. I mean, we'll see how the internet goes tonight. The 30 to 40 mile an hour sustained winds for 5 hours, coupled by 70 mile an hour gusts of wind the other night, took out some things in the area. So internet's been spotty at best here of late. So we'll see how it goes tonight.
You want to keep the ball on the ground, 40 touches for Michael Warren in that win. How about that? Ryan, how are we?
I'm great. Just always a good time to be here. Had a good little weekend. So yeah, let's talk some spring ball, man. I've been itching
to talk spring ball. Basketball too, man. And also the combine. I was there on Saturday. Weird setting. We'll dive into all of it. But of course, before we dive into it, we got to mention our good friends Danco Joe over there at Danco Auto Care and Transmission. Hit up Danco Joe. Check it out. If you got something going on with the car, get it fixed. You need an oil change, get that done as well. Everything having to do with cars. I don't know anything about cars. I went in there. Danco Joe told me everything I needed to know. He could have lied to me, but I don't think he did. I think he did a great job, and I know he did. That's all you got to say is BCJ, BBP, mention Chad, Aaron, Ryan, myself. Get yourself $10 off the next oil change, 10% off the next fixing. But we're going to talk first. You guys want to do basketball first, or should we dive right into the hot topic of football? What do you guys think?
I'm good either way. I'm here.
Let's do basketball. Keep the guys
done and out of the way.
Keep the guys waiting. Let Chad have a little bit more time to put the things up and all ready for his press conference, if you will, here on the BBP about the first practice. But basketball, man. Big win yesterday, 97-74 over SMU. Senior day, of course, for David DeJulius, Khalid Zikbay, Rob Finney. David DeJulius was the man, myth, and legend on the day. We'll dive into more on that. But, guys, I wanted to mention a couple things about that 97 points. It's the most points scored this season in AAC play. As a matter of fact, did you know it is the most points that the Bearcats have scored in any AAC game in the history of their time in the AAC? It was tied with numerous other games. First off, it was back in the 2015-16 season. They scored 97 twice. The first one was against Tulane at home. Second one was against UConn. That was the 4 overtime game in the AAC tournament.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that. That was a weird game. They shouldn't have scored 97. They should have scored under that and won at the end of the third overtime, but we don't talk about that. And then the last time was on another senior day. Let's see if you guys can guess it. I think Chad probably knows it. It was a high-scoring senior day. Chad, did you walk away? Do you know it maybe?
Memphis,
97.
SK, Memphis.
I saw SK tweeted about it. So just how special that day was yesterday or today.
Yeah.
Didn't Titus score like 27 in that game?
Oh, something crazy. Yes, I just remember it just
The rare
dunks
20-point,
galore.
the rare 20 burger from Titus.
Yeah, I think it was dunks galore. I think at the end of the first half, SK hit like a 35-second shot clock, dwindle it all the way down, and then bury a three in their face right before halftime. SK scored 34 points in that game. So 97, it is a special number. Of course, 97 is the most points scored in AAC game for Wes Miller. And of course, on top of that, it's the third most of the season, second most of Division I opponents. We don't talk about Chaminade. That seems like it was 10 years ago when we played the Silver Swords on opening day. But a lot of points scored, and a lot of it went to none other than David DeJulius. Aaron, what a special, special day for DDJ.
Yeah, I didn't. I expected him to have a good day. I expected it to be. I think his over under was 15.5. I took his over.
Congrats!
But I didn't expect 30, and I couldn't have been happier for him just to go out like that. I think that his moment where he kind of looked like he was going to do push-ups on the logo and instead leaned down and kissed the logo on his way out of the game might go down as maybe his most iconic moment as a Bearcat. Clearly a special day that meant a lot to him. And he did everything the right way the entire time he was here, even the things that nobody knew about. And my goodness, you couldn't be happier for a guy like that.
No, absolutely not. 30 points, 6 assists, yet again extending the nation's longest active streak of games with 5 or more assists, 16 straight games. So, not only did he score 30, he also had 6 assists in the game, which is just speaks to the type of player that he is and the type of role that he's really taken on this year. And of course, you look at the second half, he had 18 points and 4 assists in the second half of the game on Sunday. I mean, Ryan, can you think of a better way to go out as a senior in a more emotional way than how David did it?
I mean, there's just one thing that comes to mind. It's a blocked punt versus ECU in the final game of your 5th year.
I was wondering who was going to be the first to bring that up.
I was shocked that Bearcat Nation weren't drawing the comparisons. No, I loved it. I think that's a guy who's done his time. He's been through a lot coming from Michigan. I think he's really coming into his own lately at the end of the year, really stepping up with that veteran leadership. And you want to see him get rewarded and having a moment, getting to pull him out of the game after dropping 30, breaking some ankles, and just watching him kiss the C-paw. It's being an alumni and loving that C-paw, and you really just root for and pull for guys love this university, and just watching him kind of like cap it off like that, kissing the C-paw really, really meant a lot to me. I'm sure it meant a lot to all the alumni and all the fans. So I love what he does. I love the type of person he is. I love his game. So I'm just excited for the momentum him and the team has going into this tournament, and I'm looking for him to carry the boys, try to get us into the tourney.
God, wouldn't that be nice? Is kissing the C-paw something that we're gonna maybe start seeing? I know Chad and Justin talked about it a little bit last night. How it's like a Michigan State thing. I think you do see it kind of around college basketball a little bit, mainly at Michigan State, like Chad and Justin mentioned last night. I mean, I would be okay with it. Seems like Dave took on a whole new level of just kind of intensity, emotions. He was the heartbeat is what Wes kept calling it throughout the season. Is the heartbeat of the team was Dave. I think that was kind of all of his emotions bottling up and coming out at the very end after a huge play, going and kissing the C-paw. I mean, I'm okay if that senior leader, the guy that the fans really rally around the most, if they do that. I think Dave, sure, if he started something, then I'm sure a lot of people will carry along with it. Interested to see what you thought about that, Aaron. Did you catch the kiss?
I just brought it up. Yeah, I mean,
oh, you did. Well, Ryan embellished on it, but yes.
No, it was. I said it might go down as his most iconic moment. That was how
I
finished.
Okay.
That was how I finished my statement.
Statement was finished, and it was an absolute iconic moment. Very good. Kalu Zikpe, got to give a shout out to him. It seemed like he stepped up his game a lot after it was that hard foul in the first half when he went up for a dunk, and it kind of seemed like that really flipped the switch for him on his senior day. And he seems to be a guy that's starting to round into form at the right time, heading down the stretch.
Yeah, he. I think his thunder dunk was at late in the first, early in the second. That was maybe my favorite dunk of the season, and that's including Odie and Landers Nolly's dunks. It's certainly in the top three. I don't think that's arguable, but it might have been my favorite dunk of the season because he hammered it when he went up one-handed.
100%. I think that was in the second half there, but that was a thunder dunk. There's no doubt about that.
But I've been saying it for, I don't know, it feels like the last 2-3 weeks. He's another one, not on the same level as Vic, but just another guy, another big for that matter, that it seems every time he's out there, he's elevating. Whether it's again, not anywhere near as drastic or dramatic as Vic's ascension has been this season, but this is a guy who could have given up when he was taken out of the starting lineup, was taken off the court for that matter. And instead of pouting or quitting the team, he worked his ass off, got back into the rotation, earned the start with the seniors, and not just, I don't feel like that was just a hat tip start because he played most of the game.
He did.
So I don't know. I think it was a true redemption story for Kalu this season. And again, just a guy who did everything the right way. And that seems to be a trend here on the team this season.
Yeah, because it's not too long ago that certain players, you poke fun at it a little bit, Aaron. I know Chad has as well, where they pack up and leave when the second adversity hit. So Kalu, someone who stuck it out, and then Rob, of course, another one. He got to walk on crutches. Kind of a sneaky way to put the crutches away right before the picture with his family.
That was the move of the day. John Cunningham taking the crutches and putting them back behind his leg, so they couldn't be seen in the picture. So Rob's lasting memory of senior day is not standing there
hobbled.
Yeah, right. I thought that was pretty cool of Cunningham. Cunningham was like, "Give me this. I got that."
Right. Yeah.
He's the only one tall enough to do that, right?
Right.
Like no one else could have gotten away with that move.
West, they would have been up at his shoulder.
Yeah, it was smart.
Roberts could have did it. Roberts could have just like swallowed him, brought him back up later.
Yeah, but no, I mean, Rob, you got to feel for the guy, and you can tell when Wes talks about Rob that he definitely feels bad for him. The way that kind of, I mean, even last season at IU, he struggled with injuries throughout most of that season as well. But he helped the team make it to the tournament last season, and this year he wanted to come back and do the same with Cincinnati, try and help him, stage some sort of a magical run potentially through the tournament. But yet again, injury saddled him. But good to see him go out to an ovation, and he's doing all he can from the sidelines. Overall, outside of those three, what kind of stuck out to you in this game, Aaron? I'm going to go back to you because you weren't on the nightcap last night. That kind of really highlighted things outside of just Dave's performance.
The Kalu dunk was, I think, my favorite moment of the game, without question. Outside of that, it was good to see Davenport continue to have good games out there as not a starter. Again, just a testament to the way that these guys have accepted their new roles. That's kind of a broken record at this point. In talking about Davenport, it's been 2 months now, but he just continues to thrive coming off the bench and in that spot. Micah had a really good game, like a sneaky good game, I thought.
Yeah.
Just coming up when they needed him, both defensively and offensively. He's been a jack of all trades this entire season, kind of like a Swiss Army knife. and I think that he had quite a season, on a season that we didn't even necessarily in the offseason expect him to come back for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that Kalu dunk did happen in the first half. I wanted to clarify. So
clarify.
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember if it was end of the first or the beginning of the second there, but I don't. Both of those performances stuck out to me. Landers Nolly with the shoe change was entertaining at best. I don't know that I understand why. I'm sure you guys got to it. I haven't had a chance with the internet being down to really catch any video right outside of the game, which I had to watch on my phone.
Shoe change? I had no idea.
Yeah, he changed from black shoes to white shoes.
Oh.
Late in the second half, maybe with about 5 minutes left.
Probably had a blowout. Usually that's where that comes from.
Okay.
Had the sole rip, or just had a malfunction, some kind of shoe malfunction, and had to go to the sidelines and get them changed.
Well, but
that's usually what that is.
He couldn't make it to Danco and get back in time, so he just had to throw on the spare to finish out the game.
After he did that, he started missing shots, and the broadcasters were even making fun of it, saying that maybe he shouldn't have done that because it didn't really work. And again, just Landers is one of those guys who had a hell of a season this year, and I just can't say enough good things about that guy. Those are the performances that I really keyed on, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Landers Nolly birthday. His 10th 20-point game of the season, 5 of 8 from deep. I mean, if there's ever a time to start to get your, get in a groove, would be right now, heading into the, AAC play. Yeah.
My first thought, and I don't think we've mentioned this. I don't think we mentioned this last night. My first thought was, man, that week off, he looked like he was fresh. Like he didn't look like he was kind of. You get the feeling he was lumbering around a little bit. Just the bumps and bruises of a season, and it looked like he felt pretty good
until they broke his nose. I guess he came out of the game. I don't know if it was actually broken, but
he got a bloody nose.
Yeah,
he got a bloody nose.
Well, yeah, but I mean, still, if that's what it takes to get you back into a groove, is a little bit more rest. Well, then how about having another almost full week off after kind of a relatively coasting type win on Sunday? So I mean, there's nothing better than having this sort of thing kind of line up where it's one game in the middle of 12 days. That's got to be nothing but a positive for the team. I thought his shot was on. He was feeling it. You can tell whenever he has that kind of hesitation and then pull up that he's feeling it. Turnovers are whatever they are at this point, I guess. Chad, you and Justin kind of joked on that a little bit, but he made up for it a lot with his made shot ability, and he was driving to the paint a lot in the second half. Had that really good layup that looked like he was gonna be able to get the ball off, still put it up on the rim, made it fall through. So that was fun to watch. And Aaron, you mentioned Micah. Kind of quietly, 11 points, 6 assists, 0 turnovers, 3 rebounds. The defenses will be amped up. You got Temple, then you follow that up with potentially Houston. So those are 2 teams that Cincinnati has struggled against for the most part, trying to overcome their length and their defensive ability. So a steady Micah will be key, but I'm pumped about Jeremiah as well. If 7 attempts, knocked down 3 from deep, 4 of 9 from the field, helped out on the glass. If you can just get that steady type of, non-hero ball appearance by Jeremiah, then that's going to be another key addition heading into the AAC tournament play. Looks like we don't have Ryan for the time being, but there you are, Ryan. Looks like
hard-boiled eggs.
Hard-boiled.
Oh, not yet. I gotta make them for the week. I've been behind. I need to get back to my roots.
You'll slowly get back. Vic Locken, 20 minutes, 8 points, 6 rebounds, 4 of 4 shooting. Kind of one of those. I don't know if it's still kind of easing back into the full groove at this point, but I feel like he's a guy that will benefit from another week off to kind of get back up to game speed and get his win back underneath him. Because I think that in order for the Bearcats to pull off some magic, they're going to need Big Vic to be pretty dominant down low as well. Thoughts, Chad, Ryan?
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to have Landers and Dave clicking every game, and then you're gonna need one other step up performance from either Vic, JD, Kalu. Someone has to step up and deliver and hit above their averages significantly if they're gonna go beat Houston. And that's something that we have one. Whenever we've been getting close to beating Houston or Memphis, we got one of the two, Dave or Nolly, will play decent, and then maybe Vic would chime in and have one of his better games. But we need everyone to be clicking on all cylinders if we're going to make a run at it. And I mean, Vic is still looking, like you said, looking a little banged up, not getting back to his true form, but I'm hoping that week off will help them because they're going to need him big.
20 wins on the season. If we want to get to 21, 22, 23, like you said, we need Vic. We need all hands on deck. 8 time out of 10 seasons in the American with 20-plus wins. And, of course, the first time under West. Yes, last year didn't make it there. The only other time they didn't reach 20 would have been then in the COVID season where they didn't quite even reach. Did they reach 30 games in that? No, I think there was like 25, 26 games in that season. So big hat tip. Year 2 for Wes. Of course, a lot of us would like to have that tournament visits on the resume as well. I know that's the expectation for most Bearcat fans. But year 2, 20 wins, something to look back at and see as quite an accomplishment. So now the question is, the AAC tournament starts Friday against Temple. Now Temple was 2-6 down the stretch. They had wins against Tulsa at home, which is pretty much a gimme this season, and then they beat UCF at home as well. Played Tulane really well yesterday, but came up short. So that sets up the 4-5 game at 3:30 tip for the Bearcats versus Temple. Early thoughts on this game and thoughts on the AAC tournament overall. Chad, you kind of already touched on this a little bit with Justin, but any more thoughts leading into the weekend that is coming up?
Real quick, 23 games to clarify for the 2021 season.
There you
I mean, my thoughts.
Okay.
Game last night.
All right. Well, the BBP listeners don't know your thoughts. How about you fill them in?
Well, I think they want my practice notes first. So, look, go play well, and you got a chance. Like they've given Houston some trouble. Houston is clearly the better team. They're the number 1 team in the country. But they've given Houston enough trouble to where if you can get past Temple, who has obviously been a problem, a thorn in their side, if you will, because they forced Cincinnati to play at a slower pace than they want to. But get past that first game and then, screw it. What do you got to lose? Go try to throw a monkey wrench in Houston's AAC coronation in Dallas or Fort Worth. I got yelled at about that. Fort Worth. Get out of there with a win and see what you can do on Sunday. Like, is it likely? No. But we saw them go into Houston, and Houston has let teams hang around a little bit of late. Now, they've always been able to deliver the knockout punch. But if you look, like even that Wichita State game last week, like Wichita State was right there with 10 minutes to go, and then Houston was able to pull away. I don't know. Like, what do you have to lose?
Right.
Dave thinks they got a shot. Dave thinks they're playing their best ball.
Yep.
And I mean, really, for the first time this season, like you're not getting John and Rob back, obviously, but the team seems, for what they have available, they seem healthy.
Yeah.
Like, go try to make a run at this thing.
Burn the ships.
It's not completely out of the realm of possibility that this team. Now, like Justin said, they've only had 1 3-game winning streak all season. It's not something that they've shown a lot of consistency in, but why not? At least in conference play, they only had 1 3-game winning streak. But go see what happens.
Aaron, what will it take for Magic in a bottle? 3 games in 3 days.
I think Ryan hit on it. I mean, you have to have Dave and Landers doing exactly what they've done all year long and hitting what they do on a normal basis, and then have, either Vic or Dan or somebody has to. Sure. I mean, just somebody has to have just play out of their mind. Not against Temple necessarily, but more so against Houston. If you're going to beat Houston, like to upset Houston. And listen, I think Houston and Memphis going toe to toe until Houston pulls away at the buzzer is the best thing that could have happened right before tournament play, because it wore both teams down completely. But they also have a bye, which kind of negates that. So it's an uphill battle. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I think Cincinnati, when I took them to win the tournament, was plus 1,500 last week. Mm-hmm. That's a lot. Without parlaying it with anything,
they're not the favorite. Like, they're clearly not the favorite.
No,
for me,
they're third.
For me, the bigger thing was Memphis or Houston won. Like, if Memphis wins that game, Houston's going into the AAC tournament a little feisty. Well, and they would have at that point been trying to solidify a number 1 seed. Like, I think they're going to be they're pretty locked into being a number 1 seed, right? As long as they don't lose that first game on Friday, I think they're going to be a number 1 seed. So
even when the Field of 68 puts out a tweet saying, "Here's the brackets for the Power 6 conferences," leaving out the number 1 team in the country and their conference.
Who tweeted that out?
The Field of 68.
Oh gosh.
Goodman's deal.
Yeah, I saw that. So the third betting favorites, Aaron, you actually got them at good odds. It's plus 1,200 right now. Memphis is plus 500. Houston is minus 320. So very, very heavy favorites are Houston. But like Chad was saying, you go in, you take care of Temple, then you're playing with house money. Playing loose, nothing to lose. You played the same Houston team pretty much 4 times. If you're players like David and Julius and Jeremiah Davenport and Odie Oguama and Victor Locken, so go out there and just you had them up 15. Yes, you were knocking down 3 after 3 after 3 in the first half in Houston, but still you battle with them. You've shown the resiliency to keep up with them. You're playing with house money. But the number 1 nightmare I'm not even going to mention, I think you guys can put 2 and 2 together, is if they do pull off a Magic in the second round game against Houston on Saturday, and then Sunday rolls around at 3:15.
And the tank's empty.
And it's the game that no one cares about, the last game before the bracket reveal, and I mean that's just nightmare fuel for all of us involved. But a fuel that I will happily fill my tank up with.
Would you rather have Tulane in that spot though, or Memphis?
Tulane.
Give me Tulane, but honestly, give me Memphis as well. I think
it would feel way better to beat Memphis when you can't freaking beat them. But I'm scared of Memphis more than Tulane.
Yeah, we've already beat Tulane once and should have beat them twice if Vic doesn't go down. Right. They dominate that game in New Orleans.
But I'm with Ryan. How much better would it feel to beat Memphis, to beat Houston, beat Memphis, and then go into the tournament? My goodness.
That's what Cinderella stories are all about. Baby.
We'd be swinging.
We would. Heavy. I repeat, heavy knowledge and input and research would go into whoever that 5 or 4 you would be, Northwestern or Indiana. I would be on hand, immediately buy tickets wherever it is. But it would be It'd be awesome. And you're playing with house money. Anything can happen. Just go out there and see what you can do. You played all these teams, obviously, a bunch. And after this, you can kiss the AAC goodbye, roll into the tournament, hopefully roll into the Big 12. But yeah, I'm just happy to say that you know what I wanted them to do right after the game? Chad, were you at the game? Aaron as well, back when Ryan as well, if you were, back when they did the old Fifth Third into the new Fifth Third, and I believe it was Houston was that last game. And they immediately just started taking down the banners and taking down things right away, like right after the last horn. It was like, all right, we're renovating. I was wanting them to take down. I was wanting them to take down the AAC logo and take down all of the teams that aren't AAC. And
I think the only fear there is if there's an NIT game, you would still have some responsibilities to have that.
Please. If there's an NIT game.
I'm just saying.
I know. But if there's an NIT game, I want Big 12 all over that place. Get it Big 12 rich. I want to see even be considered a Big 12 team by that point, but it is what it is. I guess the next time that we have this, it'll already be decided. If we're all aboard on an NIT go-to, right? If obviously they don't pull off the unthinkable and win 3 games in 3 days, NIT is there, offered, got to take it and run with it, right?
I'd be shocked if they didn't take it.
Yeah.
I agree.
More basketball is good basketball. Well, guys, anything else on basketball? Nice and tidy there. I'm sure Chad, you and Dave will have more later on. I guess a little Temple look or whatnot.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit Wednesday night. Still working on a guest. I'll give you guys a little juice here. I did have a conversation with a certain Italian gentleman that is new to the football staff. I informed him that there was no pressure, but that the previous holder of his job was a part of the team here, and he was very excited about that opportunity. I don't know when exactly he will be joining us for the first time, but he has ensured me that it would be soon. So, I got the chance to chat with him for a few today. I love his energy, really good dude. So I'm excited to potentially, kind of make us feel whole again as we build relationships in and around this new football staff. I said, people think like I was kidding when I say that. It just takes a spring where you're out there every day and you're just around and you can introduce yourself and you can have a conversation for a few minutes, and then they kind of figure out what you're about, and next thing you know, like, you're good and things are flowing. I had a couple of those conversations today. So it's beginning. We're getting there, everybody. I promise.
Groundwork.
It just, like, you can't, Ryan knows, you can't fake the work, right? Like, you can't just pretend that you have a relationship with somebody when you don't have a relationship with somebody. You have to build the relationship, and then when you do, good things will happen. What is Ed doing?
It appears washing his hands.
It looks like washing his hands of the AAC would be my guess. Which is beautiful, Ed. I love it. But if we have to continue the AAC next to our name, then I don't want to see. I want to see more David DeJulius. Let's win 3 games in 3 days. Talk. I hope you're there. There you go. At the tournament, fighting Houston fans. Thank you. But yeah.
Oh, that's clapping. Ed said, clapping.
Wash hands is clapping.
Oh.
This, what I can see says, wash hands, wash hands, wash hands, wash hands, wash hands, wash hands, wash hands.
If you own a restaurant, people are going
go with
to
the
wash
joke.
their hands.
The joke Brent made was way better than clapping. Washing hands of the AAC. Run with it, Ed. Have I done
Aaron, I'm
nothing?
trying to do a transition here.
I don't know if Ed's smart enough for that. I believe in you though, Ed.
If you own a business, people are going to need to wash their hands. And you know how you help them do that? With Quick Paper Supply, a local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. They service over 150 restaurants with weekly low minimum next day deliveries, providing a wide range of food service products, to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for if you need to wash your hands. Call Nick 513-470-2029. Reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases. You know who is the newest client of Quick Paper Supply, Brent Young?
Oh, newest client. I don't know.
Martino's.
Galactic Fried Chicken
Wow.
is now a client of
What is
Quick
that
Paper
called?
Supply.
Cross advertising there?
I love when the family, becomes stronger. When the family forges together to become one. That makes me feel good about the strength of the family.
Easy, Vin Diesel.
Call Nick,
I am.
513-470-2029.
You hear that, Marty? Get Marty on that.
That's the BCJTEAM right there, baby. Gotta love that.
I've never seen a second of the Fast and Furious movies.
You're not missing much, man.
It's not my thing.
Yeah, and I'm there with you. I saw like the first couple in theaters, and that was like back. I
saw.
I think it was before high school.
In theaters, I literally wanted to walk out of the theater.
It's
Vin
a guilty
Diesel,
pleasure of mine.
Vin Diesel stomped on a parking garage, and the whole thing collapsed on itself. All right, I'm out. That's my time to leave.
Was that the Tokyo Drift one?
I don't know. It's you got the two corniest actors of all time, him and The Rock, just in there, just
there'll be no rock slander on this podcast.
Having a cornball festival.
Although I've never really watched any other. I don't watch many movies, so
you like his wrestling.
He was the best. In terms of a combination of the mic and the wrestling and the history, all of it. The Rock was the best to ever do it. I think he's the GOAT.
He liked his football career, Ryan. That's what really.
Yeah, that was it. I was big on the U back in the day.
It's all about it, baby. It's all about it. That's what our boy was all about. The U, bringing that to Cincinnati. Want to be like the U in the '90s. That's what the Bearcats are right here. But
The Rock was better than Stone Cold, Ed.
Okay, there we go.
Stone Cold's number 2, but The Rock's number 1.
Yeah, but there's no one better at riding a unicycle than Ed. That was impressive, by the way. I saw that on. Keep it up, brother. Keep it up. So,
oh shit.
Transitions. The U, The Rock, football. Chad Brendel, football. You were on site. Day 1, spring practice, spring football. It's here. The new era is upon us.
Yeah.
I want to just know very broad observations, because you've been at more practices than probably anyone that wasn't officially a part of the team.
Over the past 7 years, yeah, I have.
As much as you can, just from one practice, what's kind of the different approach or vibes? That I love it, Ed. Do one of these. Yeah.
Watch hands.
I mean, is that like a cheers?
He sent me a picture of whatever screen he's on with his emotes, and it appears to be clapping, but there's also
wash hands.
I don't know, man.
Chad,
you want my first note. My first note.
Yeah, ready.
I don't know anyone.
Fair.
Between guys changing numbers, transfers, freshmen, I work, you guys know, I work really hard. I think it's important to get to a point where you have the roster memorized, because that way it's easier. You can just jot down notes. You're not literally all day today, I did this.
Love it. Roster.
You have a roster on hand, though.
I'm writing my notes. I have to, because all I wrote, a lot of the stuff I wrote in my notes was numbers.
In
that I
hand,
could,
Brent.
yeah,
In
that's
hand, not on hand.
not on hand.
Well, I have it on hand sometimes.
You might need to, like, you might, like you're cheating on a test. You might need to write that shit. Oh, I remember him. It was difficult. Like, it was a challenge to, like, like, especially day one, as Ryan knows, no pads.
No pads.
It's mandated. You don't wear pads on day one. So you have to, like, focus on the wide receivers, the quarterbacks, the defensive backs. Like, that's all day one and day two really are. Mm-hmm. And there's a brand new wide receiver room. And honestly, most of the defensive backs are new. So you just spent all day. All right, that's D. Wiggins. I really like D. Wiggins today.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be very, very good. Donovan Ollie. Donovan Ollie had a pretty good day. Sterling Buckhalter. Yeah, Sterling Buckhalter looks the part. Wait.
Who the hell are these people?
These are your new wide receiver, Barry Jackson. So Barry Jackson got a little bit of run at wide receiver today in the slot. Like, literally, though, like, you spent almost the whole day, like, who the hell was that? I don't know him. And then it gets in your brain and you trick yourself. And, like, Jonathan Thompson made a nice play. And I was like, 22 Black. I don't know 22 Black. Oh yeah, it's Jonathan Thompson. I know him.
Who you're high on this season, by the way.
I'm very high on. I love Jonathan Thompson. But yeah, I was impressed. Like I said, I was impressed by D. Wiggins. I was impressed by Donovan Ollie. I like Jordan Young, the DB from Florida that transferred. DJ Taylor, the Arizona State DB transfer, had a pick on Brady Lichtenberg on the sidelines. That was really impressive. Dorian Jones looked really good. All transfers, like, all guys that you're just like, 9. Greziak. He looks like a slightly stretched out version of Ivan Pace. He's compact. Like, his thighs are only. He's going to play outside backer, I think. Like, he's going to be a stand-up rush guy.
Yeah, from Utah State, right?
Yeah.
The difference between him and Ivan being Ivan's thighs were this big and Greziak's were only this big.
Damn.
So
must be hard.
It's like the difference between like a large and an extra large pizza. A large pizza, you're like, damn, that's a big pizza. And then you get the extra large and like, ooh.
There's more.
There's more. So that's the difference. So yeah, it was just a day of like figuring shit out. Juwan Briggs was a defensive end. Jamal Williams, who I think you would like to see like start to take that next step forward, was an outside backer, an outside rush guy. It's basically like the fourth down lineman, but he's just standing up. Saw him in that role some. I really like the pace of practice. Like I thought the pace of practice was really good. They went, how about this, Ryan? 19 periods. That includes the first 2 to 3 periods of walkthrough and stretching.
Jesus, they're lucky. Lucky mother effers.
19 periods. It was about an hour, just under 2 hours. It's about an hour and 55 minutes or so for practice. They gave Mitch a bullhorn.
Mitch is still there?
Mitch is still there. And
wow. He wasn't on Wisconsin material.
No.
That's bullshit.
So with 30 seconds left in the period, Mitch gets on the bullhorn and starts shouting out instructions for where everybody's to go next. So then as soon as the horn hits, everybody's directly to their next thing. Bang, bang. There wasn't a lot of standing around. I thought it was efficient. Satterfield said after practice, like, we don't practice as long as a lot of people practice, but we get as much done because we're not screwing around in between periods. I liked it. I like what I saw.
Yeah, that's good, being efficient during.
I think players appreciate that, right?
Yeah, but what players really appreciate is winning games and being good. So I remember when we took our biggest step, not that he needs to do this, it's just like kind of like an example. When we took our biggest step, we were pre-practice 30 minutes, then stretch, and then like 23 periods. Practice was 2 hours and 50 minutes from the time you stepped on the field, which was overkill, and we hated it, but we got so much better as a team. And I get a little nervous, sometimes when you like buddy, let's make practice nice and easy. Like if I'm a new staff,
I don't think it was easy. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it was easy. I think it was efficient.
Okay, I hear you. I just want I want them to I don't want them to be so worried about getting in and getting out because they got a whole new system to put in. I want them to be like if they got to be out there a little longer and grinding a little bit so they can be in tune with each other.
This is knowledge I have that you don't.
Okay.
I remember Tommy Tuberville practices.
Yes.
And those were easy.
Yes.
Like it was still football practice, but it wasn't like, we should call it Club Tuberville because if the guy sprained an ankle, like, okay, you just get to sit out for a couple days. Instead of like, okay, you're over here. Okay, your ankle's hurt. Well, then you can be over here sitting on your ass, throwing medicine balls back and forth and working your upper body. Like, okay, what hurts? We won't use that, but we'll use everything else. Like that's how you guys did it. The previous, like the guys before you, it was like I won't name a name, but there's a guy that started a lot of games here that's been on this network that like going into higher ground, like, oh, my back's tightening up, and then would miss the first week and a half of higher ground, and there was no recourse for that. So I didn't get an easy vibe, Ryan. I got this is the sheet, and we're gonna bust our ass and get through this and do it efficiently as opposed to dragging out a 2.5 hour practice just for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, that's good then. I trust your judgment. I need to get out there and put some eyes on too, kind of just see the vibes.
Aaron's going to be there Wednesday and Thursday.
What is their schedule? Are they
3 to 5 every day? Pretty much. I think there's one morning practice. Pretty much everything else is 3 to 5. So if you can get out there, duck out of work at 2:30 one day, you can get down there.
Yeah, I go into work 7 to 3, maybe catch the back half of it. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know anyone down there. I'm not gonna be able to. I'm gonna have to sit my ass.
You work for me. You can be there with Bearcat Journal. Like I pay you. You're here, right?
Yeah.
You're a member of the Bearcat Journal team.
Bring a little notepad.
Right. Take some notes. Right. Like have informed opinions on the BBP.
Yeah, I'd love that. I might have to do that. Do they what? Are they Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday?
It varies. This week they're Monday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay.
And then spring break, and then they come back, and it kind of bounces around a little bit what days. But you got my number. You know where to find me.
Oh yeah.
I'll be there Wednesday and Thursday.
Aaron is. I've got radio Wednesday and Thursday, so Aaron's got practice duty Wednesday.
Big time. Come on.
So if you want to come help him out, you're more than welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
So
wear my BCJ crest, man, like a G. Come on.
We got merch. 513shirts.com. Get you some merch. We got a quarter zip. We got a polo. We got hats. I guess as your boss, I'm supposed to get those for you, right?
You're good. No worries. No worries, boss man. You're good.
Give him the swag.
Yeah.
So if a Tuberville practice was 2 hours long, how many hours was Tuberville there for?
He was always there. He would just come over like the middle of practice when they would do individuals. He would come over and talk to us
on his golf cart, right?
Yeah.
What a piece of shit.
When
I loved it. We got great information. Like he would just spend 40 minutes of practice talking to the media.
Yeah, my buddy who played during that time said that like some practices they would go through the whole thing and he wouldn't see Tuberville once. is what he said. So I
Yeah.
had to check and make sure how accurate that was. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting.
I will say
to see.
Sat was a little tough to keep track of today because he was bouncing around a lot. Like he wasn't just, and at first day it makes sense. Like he wasn't just with one group at one time. Like he had bounced, from spot to spot and was keeping a good eye on everything.
I'm surprised we've gone this far without bringing it up. Chad, first day, obviously, not first day that these guys have been throwing the ball around a little bit, but first day in front of media in a practice setting. Quarterbacks on hand. Obviously, it's a fully loaded group. It was a definite competition last season. What did you just see through the first day at Emory Jones? Ben Bryant, Evan Prater, Brady Drogosh. I just kind of synopsis of the entire group.
Honestly, it was hard to get a feel because they were cycling them through really quick.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's obviously the goal of that is to get as much on tape because you've got this week of spring ball and then you've got spring break.
Right.
And then you come back for the final, 11 practices in the spring game after that. I think they were just trying to get as much as they could. So you never really saw a guy get to stand in there and do 4, 5, 6 snaps in a row to get a feel. Emory Jones was a little inconsistent early. I think he is my day one read, and this is with knowledge of who he was at Florida and Arizona State. His athleticism stands out. He's probably going to be more effective or most effective in a quick hit passing game. Get it out wide, get it to the backs, get it to the tight ends. Maybe not necessarily standing in the pocket and pushing the ball down the field. Ben threw the ball really well. Not a surprise. Evan looked pretty much like Evan, like what we know of Evan. Brady Drogosh is so interesting, man.
Yeah.
That's a big kid. And there's no wasted, a lot of the concern with Evan is the loop in his delivery. Right. There wasn't any loop in Brady Drogosh's delivery. There was a quarterback coach friend of mine that was there watching practice, and he actually came over, and he's like, "Who's 12? What year is he?" And I'm like, "He's a true freshman." And he's like, "Out of all these guys, he gets it here and out. There's no baseball pitcher in his game. Up, bang. Up, bang." So yeah, Brady Drogosh looked good. Lichtenberg looked good. He did throw the interception to DJ Taylor, which I thought was going out of bounds.
Yeah.
So I was kind of in my notes.
Good throw
and
away.
I looked up and DJ Taylor's bringing the ball back the other way. I was like, holy shit, he caught that? Pretty impressive from him. So I do think you're getting that cornerback room gets interesting with DJ Taylor and Jordan Jones or Jordan Young. Sorry, Jordan Young. So Drogosh QB1, got it. Eventually, yes. He was still a freshman. He was still, everything was too fast for him. But in terms of the mechanics of it, that's something you have to take into account because once things slow down, the mechanics move up the list of things that are important.
I mean, he's not going to bounce after spring ball when he isn't promised the starting job.
I don't believe so. And still 9 months later, not have a home.
When your high school head coach has a job at a D1 school.
He took the kid, the quarterback he took at UAB was the next quarterback at that school. You didn't know that?
No, I had no idea.
Yeah, he took the guy behind Luther Richardson. The guy that sat behind Luther Richardson.
His dad's probably murdered him and buried him somewhere in Arizona at this point.
Yeah. I said it today to the group of guys. I feel bad for that kid because he didn't stand a chance. Like he didn't stand a chance. It's unfortunate because he had the skills to be an outstanding quarterback.
Absolutely.
You saw it with me that Friday Night Lights, like the arm, the mobility.
I wouldn't believe you at this point in time if I hadn't seen it myself. Just
Right, you would
know
think.
now.
Yeah, you would think I'm full of shit.
That something was off. Yeah, but my God, the kid was just flicking it 50 yards.
Well, yeah, and you remember Brady was on the BBP, and he said he looks special. He's like not a lot of freshmen, let alone quarterbacks, look like that, and he is physically developed, and I guess just not developed in other areas.
Parents, let your children be children.
Be kids, right?
Right. But yeah, quarterback sounds good. It'll be interesting to see how much of like the competition amps up as spring wears on, because that second transfer portal window.
Well, and I think you're also going to get into a segment of spring, Brent, where guys are going to get this guy's running with the ones,
right?
This guy's running with the twos. Like instead of today, it was like, okay, everybody gets 3 snaps. Like, boom, 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 you're out. Next guy's in. Boom, boom, boom. Next guy's in. I need to see guys get more into a flow of things that we didn't see today, which you don't expect with so many new faces. And, like I said, it's important to get as much as you can. Satterfield shied away from this question when I asked him last week and kind of hid behind we don't have pads on these first this first week, these first 2 practices. But let's be honest, they're going to have the ability to sit down next week and pour over all of these practice tapes. And evaluations are going to be made. It's inevitable. So you want to stand out these first couple days.
Oh, yeah. It's literally like it's crazy what you see. Like spring ball is just a tryout for fall camp. And it's constant, like moving pieces around, moving guys around, see who works here, who works there. But I mean, it's every single rep. I mean, they got film on every single rep, every single player. Each coach is going down the line, like just constantly shifting roster depth chart, just mixing guys around. And I remember it's like, it was only like the first week we were kind of like not really doing much. It was more laid back, but then you'd see going into week 2, just like, yep. All right. Well, they must've saw something out of so-and-so, cause he went from with the 3s. Now he's mixing in with the 1s. And it's just, you wouldn't believe how much they put into it.
You know, when it was evident, Ryan, and you weren't there, but last year, when Ivan came in, there was like, okay, like he's going to be kind of a luxury. We'll figure out, like, we'll use him a little bit here. We'll use him a little bit there. Yeah. We feel like our linebacker room is set. Huber, Deshaun, Jaheim, and Ponyboy. And then all of a sudden you had a week of spring practice where Ivan was just unblockable. You come back from spring break and it's like, no, Ivan's going to be on the field every snap.
Always.
Some guys, you get that sense that like, okay, this is like, maybe we thought this was going to be his role, but
yeah,
his role is going to be.
He was also 270 in the beginning of spring, right?
260.
260.
Did you see anybody like just flat? I know it's kind of like you can't.
First day, so it's hard. Dorian Jones, the linebacker transfer from Louisville, flashed quite a bit. I'm not putting any weight on like O-line, D-line yet until they get pads on. I think that's the one. Like you have to really have pads on those guys before you get a feel for it. Dorian Jones definitely flashed a little bit. Like I said, DJ Taylor and Jordan Young defensively flashed a little bit. We have an opinion from a player on today. I put up I just tweeted out the video from D Wiggins. We talked to D Wiggins after practice today. And our Australian friend, Mason Fletcher, the rake, chimed in under the video of D. Wiggins and just said 2 words: can play. I think that's as ringing an endorsement as you can get when somebody just has 2 words to say about you: can play.
Which is funny
I'm
coming from
excited
him.
about D. Wiggins.
Funny coming from him, considering how much Mason doesn't like the camera. That he decided to pop in and make sure that his voice was heard on camera.
No. He tweeted that underneath my video.
Okay.
I tweeted out the video.
I thought you meant he popped in the video like,
No,
can play.
No,
okay.
I put up the video of D. Wiggins talking after practice today, and Mason Fletcher chimed in on Twitter, can play.
Okay. That makes way more sense.
Yeah. But Jamal Williams, who I think everybody thinks can be a potential guy. Like he looked a lot more natural at that stand-up, like rush backer 3-4. You know, he's essentially a defensive end, but not really. He looked good there. Yeah, like day one, there were a couple guys that, you know, catch your eye. I'm angry that I'm not going to be there Wednesday and Thursday, but I'm going to trust Aaron's eye, and I think it's good to get an outside perspective on what jumps out at you, right? Because right now, we don't have preconceived notions about 70% of this roster because they're either new or they haven't played. Like they haven't got their shot yet. So I think getting as many eyes as we can on who jumped out at you.
I'm going to be writing notes, just writing numbers down and having to decode everything later on. Like,
yeah, that's what I've been doing.
So bad.
It was so hard today. It was so
all of a sudden it's going to say, drink more Ovaltine, please. And I'm going to be like, what the fuck is this?
Ryan is way too young for that one.
It went over my head.
No idea what the hell that is.
A Christmas Story.
Never seen A Christmas Story?
I've seen it, but the reference isn't clicking with me.
Yeah, me neither.
He wants the decoder, and when he finally gets the decoder through the mail, it just he's listening to the radio to get all the numbers for the decoder, and it just says, "Drink more Ovaltine, please."
It was.
It
was an Ovaltine commercial. That's what Aaron's notes are going to look like Wednesday and Thursday.
It'll be an Ovaltine commercial. Well. Speaking of drinking Ovaltine, which I don't even know what it is. What is it? Is it orange juice?
It's chocolate milk.
Chocolate, yeah.
Chocolate milk. All right.
Yoo-hoo before Yoo-hoo.
Okay. Speaking of this roster, well, first off, I want to mention it. You know, it's not too crazy to hear, you know, Dorian Jones and D. Wiggins after the press conference
coming from
Matt.
Louisville.
Yeah, and especially after the press conference with Satterfield, how he mentioned those 2 names, and in the podcast on BCJ Pod, he mentioned those 2 names. So I imagine the familiarity with the staff and the familiarity with the kind of the way practices are run definitely will help them early on going. But it's good to hear about D. Wiggins because his tape is awesome, and if he can stay healthy, it would be great to see him go there. Is Dorian Jones in the middle, Chad, middle linebacker?
That's where he looked to be, yeah. But I didn't get in the weeds on that today. Again, it's just so
right.
Your head is spinning trying to figure out numbers, numbers. But that's where he looked to be, yeah.
Because that's my next question. How wild is it number wise? And I know they aren't pads. Saying number 0 Jawan Briggs and number 2 Dante Corleone. Is that kind of an interesting sight to see?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't again paying a ton of attention to the D line today.
Right.
Just because there's no pads on. I was paying also, we know who the D linemen are going to be.
Oh yeah.
Right. Like I spent a lot of time watching.
Man.
I know, but I spent a lot of time watching the shuffling up front on the offensive line. It looks like there's 4 guys that are going to be in the mix. Between center and the 2 guards.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 or 4 guys that are going to be in the mix at tackle. So I was just kind of watching the rotation. You know, you saw Gerhardt,
take some snaps as the first team center. You saw Trevor Radosevic, whose mustache is glorious, take some snaps at first team center. When they weren't at center, Gavin was at right guard. Radosevic, I believe, was at left guard when he wasn't at center. And then D'Artagnan Tinsley was mixing in at guard. And then obviously Luke Kandra was mixing in at right guard, Tinsley at left guard. And then you had Cam Jones and John Williams. Cam Jones at right tackle, John Williams at left tackle. And then Philip Wilder, the Southeast Missouri State transfer, was mixing in a tackle as well. And then Ethan Green was getting a little bit of a look. More second and third team. But yeah, so that there was 7 or 8 guys that were kind of flowing through on the offensive line. So I was watching a lot of that.
Yeah.
It's really difficult when you're far away.
Right.
I'm gonna have to talk to somebody. Radosevic is 58. Gerhardt is 53. Those are not easy numbers to distinguish.
Especially as those jerseys start to fade and
as you get older.
And they roll them up,
Right, like from across the field, a 3 and an 8 on the back of an offensive lineman. Good luck.
They shouldn't be allowed to roll up the jerseys on a day when you don't even have pads on.
I mean, I think Natalie's on point here.
I showed Ryan's already giggled at it. I had it pulled up.
35 on the roster is the backup punter. Still space for someone to suit up on 35 on defense.
We're working through some things right now.
Okay. Are you dealing with the NIL
got some
department?
Papers I got to sign. A couple meetings I got to have, but just keep your eyes peeled. All right.
Got to enroll in some BS classes, ballet, history of rock and roll.
Yeah.
We were actually joking
interpretive
around today.
dance.
Yeah.
We were actually joking around today about like the how the schedule used to kind of bounce around a lot, and how the one person that used to piss off was Pierce, because he had shit to do, he had real work to do, and it would be like, all right, today 1:35 meetings. Well, no, I had something planned for that, you assholes.
I know that would put a big damper in our schedules, because they'd be like, oh, we're doing night practice today. It's like, well, we have calculus class at night, so me not being there wasn't as big of a deal as Alec not being there. But the message still had to be delivered, and Coach Vic was never happy.
There you go.
I mean, is what it is.
Yeah.
It worked out in the end, it seems like. Yeah. Running back, can we confirm Ethan Wright is fully transitioned back to running back?
Yeah, that was a fun little, obviously, again, no pads. So, but right at the beginning of practice, Miles Montgomery hit an outside zone run and popped it. And Ryan, what do you think about this? He got I think they started at the 25 or 30. He ran about 50 yards. And then instead of completing the run, they just had him, once he ran past the defense and dusted everybody, he just turned around and ran back. They didn't make him run the other 25 yards.
You got to score. You got to take it all the way.
I knew that would be your take.
You got to. It's rare to break stuff like that in practice, man. You got to take that to the house, celebrate on the defense. It gets everyone more into it. It's gonna make us pissed off, get us amped
Beat
up,
the drum.
get our asses chewed out by our coaching staff, and then it's go time. But you gotta house that.
He had a big run, then Ethan answered with a big run, then Corey answered with a big run. You could tell those guys are kind of this. Look, this is a running back system. The design of this offense is geared towards, making guys
wildly successful if they can execute it at the running back position. So obviously, if Monty's recovering from had his foot in a boot, not back yet from an offseason surgery, but you could tell these three guys. And I asked Corey about it today. I'm like, hey man, Miles broke one early, then Ethan broke one, then you broke one. He's like, oh yeah, we're all looking at each other like, whoever gets that top spot, there's going to be probably more of a mix of guys in this system than Fick wanted a bell cow. He wanted a number one, like run between the tackles, inside zone, wear you down type power back. I think with the mix of, they want to run outside zone. They also want to have inside zone, like in the playbook. You're going to see more guys being used, but these guys are like the competition level. You can tell they feel it. They definitely feel it.
Yeah, I think
Any bird sightings?
Any what?
Bird sightings.
He was there. He looked a little slim, looked a little trimmed down than he was. But I mean, he's in a tough spot right now.
Sure.
Manny Covey also in a tough spot. Like he looked a lot like Miles Montgomery did when he showed up, where he was just a little. Remember Ryan? He was a little thinner in the hips. Legs were a little skinny, little bird leg, thing. Now Miles looks the part. I think Manny Covey is going to be really good.
Yeah,
it's fair.
That's a good point.
It's fair.
It's a good point.
I didn't know the number. Like they didn't do Gunners today, Steve.
What is this?
It's
what
the
is
ghost
this?
of it's the ghost of Drew Donnelly is the number one gunner still. So
we're the number one gunner podcast in the country. Like, we love gunners here. Well, we talked. What a joke! The joke came from Ryan, as you know. We talked a lot about special teams. And we talked a lot about like the reason that Cincinnati's punt coverage is elite is because they're putting dudes at gunner.
Tyler Scott and Trey Tucker.
Yeah, but before that it was
Alec Pierce and Trey Tucker.
Right, and Kobe was in there for like they mixed in elite outside coverage and punt return. And I would like to see that continue because it was a reason your punt game was so elite. I gotta ask, Ryan. What about your boy? Did you hear this?
What?
About Mace?
Oh yeah. Of course I heard.
Special teams coordinator, Indianapolis Colts.
Big.
That guy's going to be a special teams coordinator in the NFL for the rest of his life.
You think?
Yeah. He's a genius. He's a fucking genius.
He is very, very good. Very good at lining
well,
shit
and
up,
especially
scouting.
Let me know if I'm wrong here. But like in the NFL, punters and kickers, one, they have their own guy. Like the special teams coordinator doesn't have to worry about the talent level of the punter and the kicker. Yes. Unless they just take a guy that sucks. Or goes through a mental whatever. But so their job is more punt, kickoff, like coverage, returns, and that's where Mace is a fucking genius.
Yep.
So
that's the thing about the NFL. For him, like I'm so excited because a lot of guys, it's hard to like make a big impact on special teams. Sometimes it just feels like a non-existent part of the game because there's not a lot of block punts.
Right.
Very conventional. Everyone does things kind of the same. So that's what I'm really excited for Mace.
But you're going to get a storyline in the NFL in one of the next 2 or 3 seasons is going to be how do the Colts keep blocking punts and kicks?
I've never talked to him about
brilliant at it.
I know. I've never talked to him about like what his goal was. Like, was it to be a coordinator? Was it to be a head coach? He never really indicated. He was just always like in his little niche with like the snipers and specs. So, I mean, I don't know. That's the thing. Like, I don't know if he wants to keep climbing the ladder, if he wants to like, I don't know what his end game is, but all I know he's damn good at coaching specs. So we'll see how long people can hold him to that. Cause when they're like, all right, you're doing this damn good of a job here. Like,
How pissed
Let's
is Alec going to
upgrade
be?
you.
How pissed is Alec going to be having to go back to special teams though?
Alec broke it to me. He called me on what was that? Sunday?
Yeah.
Was it Saturday or Sunday? I don't know.
I think it was
Saturday,
Sunday.
Mace is
Saturday
Mace is
game.
gonna be
Yeah.
he's like Mace is gonna be our specs coach. It's like no way. So we talked for a little bit, and he was like, "I'm trying to describe him to some of the guys on the team. They're asking about him." And so we were kind of like going back and forth, like giving our Mace classifications. So it was fun, but I'm pumped. I was pumped for him. I'm still pumped now. Even more reason to root for the Colts.
There we go.
Feel bad for Freeman. Feel bad for Freeman. Freeman's getting kind of plucked right now.
They're getting
man.
raided, man. So when he first got here, he was the recruiting coordinator.
Oh yeah, he recruited me.
Yeah.
He was like, because like none of the coaches knew who the hell I was. Only he really did, because I was like, he was like, he knew me, and like we had a good relationship. He was really good with my parents. So he was like my only inside source. Like, come to practice today. Like, this is when you're on the team now. Like, he was like the only reason I knew what was going on with being a part of the football team.
So imagine my personality meeting Mace as like the recruiting coordinator.
Yeah, that's
And
a
my
funny little combo.
My first impression was, this is never going to work. This guy is going to hate me. Like, I know the type of people that don't like me, and this is one of them. And as he transitioned into linebackers and special teams, I would get something wrong. Like, I would say, this kicker was 4 for 5, and this kicker was 3 for 4. And as soon as I would show up in practice the next day, he'd be like, Brendel, that guy was 5 for 5, and the other guy was 3 for 5. If you're gonna report it, don't fuck up. And he would just like give me a smirk and walk away. We ended up having an outstanding connection, friendship. So I'm really happy for him. I texted him right as I heard he was getting the job. That he's gonna kill it. He's going to kill it as an NFL special teams coordinator.
I was shocked. Not that he doesn't deserve it. It was just like how good he did at Notre Dame. Him and Freeman are boys. Like, I thought for sure he was going to be there for at least a little longer. I was not expecting
you don't have to recruit. You get to work with the best of the best.
More money.
More money, more comfort, more security. His wife's family is all from Indy, I believe.
He's from Indy too.
Well, he's from Indiana. I don't think he's from Indy, right?
Oh, Indiana. Oh, yeah.
No, he's from Zionsville, which is Indianapolis.
Yeah. Okay. His wife's from Indy though.
And he's got a kid too, and it's probably good to be around Graham.
The grandparents get to enjoy the ride.
It's a great setup for him.
I've met his dad multiple times. He was a member of Bearcat Journal for a long time. I don't know if he still is or not, but
he is. It's a great family.
Awesome family. I
know his brother really well, and so
Coach Mace is one of the best, man. He literally gave me every opportunity. I credit him for as much fun as I had. And all the opportunities I got were pretty much because of him. He always went to bat for me, always helped me and guided me. So anytime I see him have success, I'm just ecstatic for him.
You want to hear my hot take?
What?
He should have been the DC when Freeman left.
Yeah, I don't really know.
He should have been the DC when Freeman left.
He knew it. He's
aggressive. He is the closest to Freeman that they were going to hire. He's
I wonder if he wanted
attack. You wonder if he wanted to be a defensive coordinator?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
That defense with Sauce and Kobe and the fucking Beavers and Cook and hell yeah, he wanted to be the defensive coordinator.
I know. I don't know. Because I think they interviewed him, right?
I think they fucked up. I think they fucked up taking Tressel instead of Mace. I thought Mace. I think
I think everything worked out well because like everyone pulled their weight with Mace, Tress, and Hitchler all kind of combined really well, and that let Mason. I think because that year Mason went like crazy on special teams, like was like balls to the wall. Not that he like was slacking in other areas, but was just like a whole different animal. Like we were doing like extra meetings, extra stuff after practice, just insane scouting reports, and he was just all on his shit all year. So that's what I'm expecting out of him in Indy. So I can't wait.
Me too.
Yeah, I agree.
We didn't plan on like having that in the show, but I know Royer loves Mace as much as I do, so I figured.
And I love Mason's family too. Before I started working at BCJ, I would go to the games with Mason's family and stay at the hotel with his brother, and kind of just get to know that. So I texted his brother. I didn't text Brian. I texted his brother when that news broke, and I was like, we were talking about how time's not real, Ryan, and it was 14 short months ago. We were all down in Dallas together, is what we were talking about, which is just
I know, man. You're
insane to think about. Insane.
Yeah.
But that is what it is. So, yeah, I guess that was a tangent. Are we done with spring practice number 1?
I don't have really questions. Anything else. I mean, you can ask questions. I don't really have anything else to like.
Well, I guess we have to talk about it because it's going to make waves. Was Deshaun Pace interviewed after practice today?
Yeah, I'm uploading it now.
Okay. One comment is kind of making its rounds. It was tweeted by Justin Williams just about how this staff is letting I want to pull up the exact quote so I don't get it wrong here, but see here. Embrace the new staff. The new staff is pretty good. I like them. They're all hype. They're more for the players now. Just all around, the coaches are more for the players. They just love us. Is the quote. And you know what? Some certain staffs are certain ways. Some coaches are certain ways. Some are more player friendly. Some are more, disciplinary. At different tea for a different time, I guess. Is this a lot to do about nothing? Is this just something the fan base is going to take off the rails, or what do you kind of just derive from Pace's initial thoughts on the new staff after one practice? Aaron,
Royer? No.
All right,
Ryan.
I'm being designated.
Hey, you've been inside the walls. You get to answer the inside the wall. I'm like, this is your expertise.
Yeah,
I'm paying you to answer these damn questions.
Yeah. I think it would be good if we could have got a follow-up on like, hey, what do you mean by this? It'd be nice. But what I think Deshaun's just kind of talking about is Fick and his staff were very much more on like about making you the best football player you can be and winning games. And those two are related directly. So they want to win. That's how they make their money. And they want to make sure we're the best football players we can be so we can potentially go make some money in the NFL. And they kind of work hand in hand. And that meant that, you weren't always getting you weren't getting pampered. Sometimes you're going to get chewed out. Your Coach Vic and your coach is going to be on your ass with everything. And sometimes that's not fun. And practice sometimes was grueling and you're getting screamed at. And that was just the style. And I was always fine with it. That's just kind of like how I know football and how I like it. But, sometimes like some guys kind of want to just like are more like gamer kind of guys. I think Deshaun's kind of like that where, he can just flip the switch and in the game and just go make plays, or at practice and just go make plays. And sometimes, like, that intensity and that detail oriented, just nonstop, like, kind of craziness that like Fick kind of just cultured here at UC, that sometimes doesn't mesh super well with that style of player. But not that I think Deshaun's a bad kid, not that I think Coach Fick was doing him wrong in any way, nothing like that. It's just sometimes, certain guys are wired certain ways, and, some staffs aren't going to always cater to that. But, I always stand by the way I thought Coach Fick and that staff ran the program, because I thought that was the direct reason for our success. And, when Deshaun's in the NFL, I think, he might not have liked how he got coached in certain ways, and they might have dogged him sometimes when he thought he didn't need to be dogged. But I think he'll be a better football player because of it. And I'd tell him that to his face, and I don't think he'd have a problem with it. But, maybe more Coach Satterfield's a more lax coach than Coach Fick, and I think that does bode well with Deshaun's style. But I don't think Deshaun meant any like ill will.
Right.
I think he was just, speaking his mind. I don't think, sometimes things can tend to get, misconstrued.
When it's just words on a paper, you can take one way or the other. I'm more excited about with Deshaun is this movement of position. I don't know, Ryan, if you've heard much about this, but it's going to be kind of more of like a nickel back, not the group, but a position, a nickel for Deshaun, kind of like, a third safety, if you will, that they call. What is it that they call that position in there? Is the star position in the 3-4 group. So it's covering, it's rushing the passer, it's a very aggressive fly over the field type spot for Deshaun. I think he's going to really excel in that role.
Yeah, I agree. Deshaun was always a guy that he has safety skill, but he just has that aggression and hit power and physicality of a linebacker. That's why he fits so well at the at sniper. But then you had a guy like Ty Van Fossen, you just couldn't keep him off the field.
Right.
Not that it was a good 1-2 punch, but I think Deshaun is a playmaker. He's dynamic, he's explosive, and putting him kind of like in that space on that island of kind of the island of potential, big play potential, with that kind of star style, I think he can do great with, because he's athletic enough to cover. He's athletic enough to beat guys off the edge and pass rush. And he still has that block defeat and that linebacker mentality in him. That's just the style he has. So I'm thinking he's going to, not that he had a bad year, but I think he's going to have a good like bounce back, get back to his old kind of explosive play ways. So I'm excited for him. And maybe this new style that he seems to like a little more will help kind of like fit him better into this defense and make him more comfortable. And because at the end of the day, we need playmakers, and he's a playmaker. Yep. So we need him to step up in that regard. I think he will.
Big time excited for that. Chad has left the scene, but I guess not much else to cover here. I guess check out the notes that will be posted, interviews posted. Aaron, you've got some a big role to fill on Wednesday and Thursday, my man.
Like I said, it's going to be decoding with numbers after everything's all said and done. I'm going to be. I know Ryan joked about like if he went to practice having to take a notepad, but I think you pretty much have to take a notepad to write down like who's lining up at receiver, who's lining up at tight end, who's lining up at running back, even before the snap is off, before like just to see who's getting the reps and who's in. So I'm gonna be doing my best, but oh man, this is not gonna be a fun one. Not even being able to look up and recognize anyone.
Right. And Chad won't be there either for you to be like, right. Chad.
I'll be like, Justin, who was that?
Yeah. Do not leave me. The Justin's going, Dan Horde, come over here, fill me in. Who was that guy?
Who are these people?
Yeah. It'll be interesting for you. But yeah, I mean, a lot to unravel, a lot to unfold. I mean, I was just interested to hear kind of just how the coaches ran practice, and it is interesting hearing kind of a shortened practice, more contrite, and that could change throughout the upcoming weeks, and you never know. So
I do want to give a
stay locked in here. Yeah.
Do want to give a quick shout out to any of the new parents of the players who are here joining us tonight. I believe just based on some of the follows I've gotten through the episode that there are some parents in here. So
awesome.
Welcome
aboard. Excited for year one of the Satterfield era. Excited for Bearcat football to keep rolling in. Big 12 football rolling on in. I wanted to touch real fast. If you want to timestamp this, Chad is still MIA. So quick paper supply timestamp here.
Sorry, I was my daughter was on the phone with my wife, and I had to go play dad for a minute. Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. Quick Paper services over 150 restaurants with weekly low minimum next-day deliveries, providing a wide range of food service products from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick at 513-470-2029. Reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
Boom, baby. I wanted to touch real fast on the combine. Chad, I know you were keeping up with it as much as possible on Saturday. Aaron, Ryan, I don't know if you guys were able to peep in and get some looks on it, or at least read about the goings on as far as that goes. I was there for Saturday as a spectator, not as media. Kind of one of the more weird events that I've been a part of, because there's no sound in the entire giant Lucas Oil drum. It's just all spectators watching and cheering for the crazy jumps of an Anthony Richardson and crazy throws of Will Levis. And
were you there by yourself?
Oh no, I had a group of about 15 people there.
I almost would have had the broadcast running on my phone with like an earpiece.
They suggest that.
Okay.
Instead, my hands were full, double fisting the whole time, so I couldn't have had a third hand for headphones. But
they serve beer at the combine.
Oh yeah, beer. They got this tasty, weird, seltzer thing. Had about 5 of them, but yeah,
you don't need hands for headphones, like just to have an AirPod in.
Yeah, but and then we randomly were sitting right behind CJ Stroud's mom, and they were recording her after every throw that CJ made. It was pretty wild, but yeah. So obviously, take a look real quick. Yeah, it was yeah. One hand was a Mick Ultra, the other hand was a seltzer of some sort, and then my friends were like, Brent, when you got up to leave, it sounded like a drunk getting out of his car after a 12-hour road trip or something, and I was just like, yeah, sheesh. But anyway, it was interesting seeing both Tyler and Trey run, because we heard all about Tyler being breaking some records with his 40 time. First one was not impressive at all. I think he kind of stumbled out of the gates a little bit.
Pop straight up.
Yeah.
Rule number one as a sprinter: don't be a Pop-Tart. Like, you got to drive into that. Ryan knows in training for the combine.
All the intense training I've been doing lately, they told me to run with your eyes closed and never pick your head up. Just look straight at your feet the whole time and hunch your back. So you'll be seeing that with me at Pro Day, looking to run a sub 5.5. So just stay in tune.
Try your hardest to look.
Here's what I want to know. Can you find a way to participate in Pro Day? I'm not kidding.
I could. There's nothing stopping me.
I mean,
I am in shape.
Years removed.
I'm in shape, but not in like football shape. I'm in like
combine shape. You don't have to play football. You don't have to play
a snap of football. Shape. I haven't sprinted or jumped. And I think since the Cotton Bowl.
we needed.
Wait, I played hoop. I've been playing hoops. I played hoops a little bit after, but I haven't played hoops in a minute. I've been like just training and in the weight room and just running. I've been just run like 3 miles a day, but I don't do anything else. I don't jump. You need to be able
Natalie
to
wants
jump
you to
and sprint.
tailgate before pro day.
Show up drunk, smell like Bud Light and tequila, just throw up in the middle of the 40.
I don't think Steve Smith's not going to be at this one, so you'd be all right. Like, he's not going to whoop your ass for making mockery of everybody showing up.
No, I mean it would be funny. I mean, I guess I could do it. I just have to put my name in. So
yeah, not drunk, just buzzed.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good idea.
Buzz pro days are not drunk pro days.
Yeah.
It just helps
Maybe
you
we'll
loosen up for the sprinting, man. You got to stay
We'll
loose.
get the fan toss as an official pro day event.
Yes. See how many times I could put my head in the fan before passing out.
We'll have Mets just tossing you into the fan.
I mean, if you're Mike Tomlin would see that and he'd be like, all right, get him over to the black hat, white hat test.
Yeah, we need him.
Yeah.
We need him.
Do you know about that? Do you know how he does that?
I've heard, like, I don't know the specifics, but I've heard, like, rumblings about it.
So he goes, one of his things is just has a black hat and a white hat on the table, and he just says, pick one. That's all he says. And he's like, he will not take someone that picks a white hat because it's a beta move. Alphas always choose the black hat is what he says. That's his draft interview.
Never mind. I'm not going to make a joke. Nick Bauer says he's thrown up at Nippert in a past life.
Haven't we all?
Fan tossing's not an Olympic sport yet.
Yeah, we got some work to do. First, we got to get the Olympics here in Cincy, and then
that's not gonna.
We can really take off.
Not gonna happen.
It's almost a thing back in like what 90
couple betas in this podcast.
We do have white hat guys.
Brett left. That's why Brett left.
That's good. Chad's got the black hat.
It's my girl dad hat.
Beta, the total beta.
It's my girl dad.
Beta.
Tonk, get out of here. Tonk, are you familiar with what too much information TMI stands for? You tonks the timeout for 5 minutes. Aaron did that. I did not do that, Tonk. That was Aaron this time. The only person I put in timeout is Ed. Oh, boy. Where'd Brent go? Is he not coming back? We upset him?
It's an alpha-only podcast for the
You
remaining.
baited him right out of here.
Oh, that's good. That's so good.
So, as we were mentioning, the NFL Combine.
Did you put on your Suge Knight costume? What's going on?
What's that?
Did you put on your Suge Knight costume?
No. Why?
Your headphones look like a necklace, and just you in all black is something else.
Nah. Just I had my hat, and it's just it was there, and we're here. So
It was there, and we're here.
Pies Bays didn't even listen to. I had a beer in the other hand. Damn it! Counted both. Anyway, Combine. Trey Tucker tied for 6th, 4.40. I guess you can look at all the numbers online. Second fastest 10-yard split.
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 Yeah, That would explain the slow times he had a splint on.
Brent's off the rails right now.
Well, Tyler Scott had a tie for 5th out of wide receivers, 39.5. Bert, I'll be interested to see how much they do on the pro day. So it'd be interesting as they get out there. Probably want to improve on the 40 time. Definitely Tyler Scott will probably want to, but JD, I had more than a Mick Old. Damn it. All right, whatever. I agree. It isn't. I'm trying to slim down. But yeah, so anything else you guys saw from the NFL Combine?
I mean, we already did the timestamp, didn't we? Is that what I did a timestamp for? I didn't listen for 7 minutes.
We did the timestamp for spring practice, not on the combine.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
So that means I have to timestamp again?
No,
Okay. Okay. We'll move on.
Sure.
Brent is shook. He is shook.
Shambles.
That's
It's like Samson with the hair. You take away his white hat, and he loses all his strength and power.
I was trying to talk about the combine. You guys had nothing to say.
Brent needs a 30. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My wife was on the phone. I had to go chat for a few minutes.
Oh, you're good. You're back.
My bad.
You're good.
Does Quick Paper Supply sell red Solo cups? Red Solo Pro Day. Royer's going to do a beer Olympics for his pro day. What if right outside the pro day we have Royer do a beer Olympics instead?
Just me getting absolutely sauced outside.
Right.
That would just be so. Oh my god, just so stupid.
The news staff would be
Me,
what
you just have a mini
doing?
keg.
You got to do the eye black, the paint, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, if I did the eye black for pro day, that would be. God, I would make myself even more of a meme if that was even possible. But
it would be such great content, Royer.
But the whole time I have to be super serious, try to take interviews.
Yeah. We'll see if teams will come up and talk to you.
Yep. We were looking for someone for a mascot. You would
Outstanding. I love it. All right, should we go to the mailbag now, or do we have anything else? Brent, you host this fucking podcast. Let's go.
I said yes. Let's go to the mailbag.
Aaron?
Well, there is only one question in the football portion of the mailbag, so we will start there. And that question is, do you guys believe that next year's leading receiver is on the roster yet?
Yeah. I saw some interesting candidates for that spot today.
Are you speaking to
yeah.
Wiggins?
I have no idea. I don't even know. I'd have to go see it with my own eyes.
There is a second one that just showed up that you didn't get to, Aaron.
I actually just created the banner for it. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean, Wiggins would probably be the pick by him being the first
from
interview.
day one. Sure, I
Yeah.
mean Dorian Jones. I think is going to be interesting.
Not a
Is that his last
receiver?
name? Jones. Not
That's not a rec-
no. I meant Donovan Ollie.
Ollie. Yeah, Ollie.
Donovan Ollie. Yeah.
Okay. You're not silenced anymore, Tonk. You're good. The other question that just came in since we have been recording, Who's running back one for 2023? What's everyone's pick for quarterback? What's everyone's thoughts on the new O-line? And do you believe it's been upgraded? Thanks, fellas.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with my guy. Like, I'm a Miles Montgomery guy. I have been for a year and a half now. I think he has the potential to be special. I'm gonna go with Miles. I know Corey is gonna be very good. I know Ethan Wright is going to be very good in this system. But I just feel like outside zone is something that really, really leans into what Miles does best. So I'm going to go Miles, but those three at the top, I think, all have a chance, depending on health and, all the things that are important.
Can Ryan come back too?
Yeah, he can. But I'll talk about him when I see him in the offense.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think a lot of credence goes to the graphic that was posted. Obviously, you can't lean all the way into that, but I mean, it was a graphic featuring one player and one player only for the spring game, and that was Miles Montgomery. And then you see the Iron Bearcats were all named for the offseason, and yet again, there was Miles Montgomery, Ethan Wright as well. But I think Miles makes a strong case. Corey Kiner as well.
What you got, Ryan?
It's gonna be a fun running back room.
If you include Monty, I think Monty's been our best overall back, just in terms
For
of
inside zone.
Yeah, breaking tackles. I don't know. He really impressed me last year, but moving forward, Miles does have that quickness more than all those other guys. But I do think Corey has the most potential. So I think
I'd agree with that.
I think mine's between Corey and Miles, but I'd have to go watch.
I'm just not going to count out Ethan, man. That kid runs hard.
Ethan Wright.
He runs like he's trying to get home from Lubbock. He runs like he's trying to get home from Lubbock. Hard.
All four of those guys.
And then Manny Covey and Stephen Bird, there's a couple young guys that's a really talented room.
So all six are running back one.
Yeah, no. No. I gave my answer for running back one. I just think it's a really talented room.
I was just making the joke. Any picks for quarterback? Ryan, we'll start with you since you finished with the running backs.
I think they're going to give Emory Jones every reason to be the starter, but I don't think people should count Ben Bryant out. I think Ben is going to scratch and claw, and I think his arm talent is really going to give him a shot. I don't know, though.
Here's the thing I would say, Ryan. I think it's a sign for Ben that day one of spring ball, he's out going 1-on-1 and 7-on-7.
Yeah, you said it's a
great sign.
Yeah,
a great sign.
So it's making me wonder. I'm gonna try to pick his brain. Like, what has he been doing that's sticking out that much more than Emory? Because I mean, you don't bring a guy in and pay him whatever the hell they paid him to be here just so he could be number 2 when he's been number 1 everywhere else. So,
sure. What you got, Brent?
Yeah, I think it's Emory. Not really brought in to I guess it's a competition, if you will. But I think Emory Jones, like Ryan said, will have every reason to lose it or just seize it. So
I think he just fits the most in terms of they want a guy that can run in their outside zone offense. Like they want a quarterback that can move. But again, Ben's a resilient dude, man. He won't die. Like the whole thought process was 2 months ago that there's no way that Ben's ready for spring, able to do enough in the spring to really give himself a chance going into the summer if he's here. And day one, Ben's out there, letting loose heaters at least in 1-on-1 on 7-on-7. So I'm not going to count Ben out. The new O-line, day one, man. I don't know. I think the interior with Radosevic and Kandra added, I don't know how they aren't improved over the offensive line that lost, your starting All-American candidate center like the week of the season. So I think the interior will be better. The question is tackle. The bigger question is, do they feel comfortable at the end of spring with what they have at tackle, or do they feel like they need to go get one in the portal, 2 months from now? That's going to be interesting. But I don't have that answer yet. If we get to the week after spring break and they've got the pads on and the defense is just kicking the offensive line's ass,
which is normal.
But it's going to raise more questions.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Well, think about, you got fucking the Godfather, Jawan Briggs, Eric Phillips,
Malik Fan.
Malik. Fuck, I forgot about him. I mean, they should and they will have their way with these guys. They were going to have their way with Renfro probably. Renfro couldn't handle Corleone and Briggs and all those guys. It would just be a nightmare.
Right.
Are on Wisconsin. All right. Moving on to the basketball portion of the mailbag. This one slipped into the football mailbag, but I got it in its place. Something earth-shattering, just kidding. Too soon to swoon over a 4-position player coming. How tight is UC with Flory, McKinley? Coach Wes Miller cannot let McKinley go to X or get out of town, period. Beat them Owls.
They're as tight with Flory and Tyler McKinley as you can get. So, I don't know what else. They have put in all of the necessary work. They have all the necessary connections. Go close the deal.
Get it done. All right. Looking back, did it make sense to have 8 seniors on the roster during a rebuilding season, or did Wes think that this should have been a tournament team?
You try to win games. That's your job as a coach. They did what they felt was best to try to win games this year, while also having an eye on the future. And the seniors thing is disingenuous. 4 starting the season, and now 5 of those players have an option to play next year. That's not when you say 8 seniors, that means you have 8 guys that aren't going to be available next year. That you have 8 guys on the roster that we're moving on.
You don't have 8 scholarships available next year.
Right. They might only have 3. Depending on how things play out, they might only have 3. So that's bait.
You're right, Natalie. You're right. It's fine. Sometimes this happens in the mailbag.
That's bait. It's bait.
All right. Chad, how well do you think Wes has a handle on the portal versus last year? I would think he has a much better understanding and already has at least a couple of players singled out. I'm on the page. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe this is last week's questions. My internet's been broken. I don't know what to tell you.
These are definitely last week's questions. Okay. I got it.
Hold that thought then.
No, these are this week's questions.
What?
Oh no, Aaron. Yeah,
the basketball mailbag. I did mess. I've never messed up. This is the first time like this.
Yeah, you're all right. You're all right. First for everything.
AC Mazzaro asks, yesterday was a special game to attend. It felt like the vibes Miller has been selling really popped across the board. From your experience in media or in Ryan's case as a player, have you encountered many coaches who seem to get in the ways Wes Miller does? Get it in the ways Wes Miller does.
I don't know how Wes Miller gets it. So I think it's important to not only to be a player, a former player in that regard, but also to be a former player in the ways that Wes, like, he was a walk-on, he became a starter, then North Carolina recruited Ty Lawson, he became a backup, like, they won a national championship. I think Wes just has a special understanding of team. I think Ryan, based on what that group went through, has a special understanding of team. Would you agree, Ryan? Like, what it means to like relate to players and to like speak to them on a personal level.
Yes. I think, being a walk-on, you kind of really got to scrap through and have a different kind of mentality about being a part of something and being part of a really good team too.
Yeah.
That's a big deal because it's one thing being a walk-on like a shitty team where there's shitty energy, shitty coaching, but to kind of like even more when you're on like a really good team, there's times where you could even get thrown to the side even more because shit can just be humming and they got some of the best football being played by your starters. And I didn't know that about Wes. For him to earn the starting spot, then have it get taken away from him. But
they recruited like an elite player.
Yeah. Obviously, it's not like surprising, but
right.
Just like having that pedigree and having that experience, I think carries so much weight. And, that's the kind of guy you want leading your program.
Yeah, I do find myself oftentimes in my friend groups and whatnot, it's just saying that Wes Miller gets it, and what gets it truly means, I think, varies for fans and players and media and all different people that really look at it. But I think that it's very true. His press conferences are special. He's just got so many things that really feel like things are heading towards the right direction, and it's that sort of feeling that really makes it seem like he does get it, and that the players are buying in, and everyone's bought in, and that he is making the right moves in order to continue on that trajectory. So, I agree.
All right. Groundhog's Day follow-up question from last week. Now that we have drummed SMU and snagged our 20th win, what needs to happen in the next 3 weeks to create an exceeds expectations grade for this team for the 22-23 season?
Do we have to win? The answer changes. Why do we have to keep asking the same question over and over when the answer doesn't change? Go ahead. Sorry.
Do we have to win the AAC conference tournament and get to 23 wins and a dance invitation in order to get to an exceeds expectations grade? B, can we win 1 or 2 games in the AAC tournament and get an NIT bid, then win 1 or 2 games in the NIT and get to 23 wins and receive an exceeds expectations grade? Or C, is there no realistic way to receive an exceeds expectations grade?
If you beat Houston, you win the AAC tournament, and you make the NCAA tournament, that's exceeding expectations. You finally got over the hump. You won the game you needed to win, the big game, right? Right. Nobody had this team in the NCAA tournament coming into the year. Except Aaron. Aaron was a 5 seed with John Newman. But going into this season, nobody was like, this is a tournament team, right? Like, hopefully a bubble team. If everything goes right and they play really well, hopefully a bubble team. But probably, a NIT level team. That's where they're at. I guess the question, the only thing, if they make the NIT and win the NIT, do you consider that exceeding expectations?
No,
I really don't. It's the NIT.
I think
good for you.
I think it depends on who you beat in the NIT.
I don't think it matters.
if you're beating a Big 12 team somewhere in there, I think that might mean something.
Well, it might be the ninth or 10th place Big 12 team because the other 8 are going to make the tournament.
I'm just saying. I think it depends on who you beat in that tournament.
I don't I make the NIT. I don't think there's any did anybody say before the season this team needs to go make the NIT Final Four?
I don't. It's not going to necessarily go to exceed this expectations. I guess. I don't know. I mean, you win a tournament though, and that's still more than what I think we expected. We don't talk about.
Yeah, I feel great for the guys. I just don't think I would walk away being like,
you don't feel. Man. It's not what you wanted necessarily, as far as that was what your hopes and dreams were. But we don't talk about the NIT because it's not listed in the.
It doesn't matter.
Sure, that's fine. But I guess if you win the whole damn thing, I think that's worth something. I don't know that it necessarily
changes. Momentum that comes from it. Yeah, sure.
It doesn't necessarily change you from exceeds expectations, from just at expectations to exceeds expectations.
Right.
But I think that you can hang your hat on a pretty good season at that point.
I guess here's the real question going in. Does beating Houston and making the American Athletic Conference finals equate to exceeding expectations? Especially since right now Houston is number 1.
Are we talking about just in the AAC tournament?
Yeah. Like, does beating Houston and making the finals put this team in a position where they have exceeded expectations this season?
For the entire season? No. I think you got to make the tournament. That's my expectation before the season was make the tournament. I think it's Wes's
Your expectation for this team was make the tournament.
Yes. I said that they were going to be a tournament team for the season.
Okay. Well, that says more about you than it does the team.
I disagree. I think you asked Wes. I think he would forecast that same thing. I think a lot of fans.
That's a coach's job.
I think a lot of fans expect the team.
I agree with Brent. I thought they were gonna. I mean, yeah, they got plagued by some injuries, but I thought they had the guys to do a little bit better.
I thought this was an NIT level team. This was a team that was going to win 20, 21, 22 games and hopefully be more on the bubble than they were because they didn't really force their way up to the bubble. But I thought at best this was a bubble team.
I think we got to go back and listen to the preview pods because I think we were all a little bit higher on them. You know,
people have 21, 22 wins, be on the bubble with a chance to be in the conversation for the tournament. Not in the tournament, in the conversation for the tournament.
But in order to do that, you needed to beat an Arizona or an Ohio State or a Houston or a Memphis. Yeah.
Hey,
but if they beat number 1 Houston on Saturday, does that make it exceed expectations? Or I would agree. If you win the AAC tournament, then you exceeded expectations. There's nothing else they can do right now to exceed expectations.
Right.
As we talked about last night with Justin, overrated, underrated, properly rated. Right now, this team is properly rated.
I think if we had Kyle Bolden playing hoops, that we would probably be battling for the number 1 overall seat. But some things just don't work out that way.
Probably also be battling for the most ejections in sport.
Will Newman play in the tournament, or is he redshirting for sure and coming back? If Newman and Rob don't get hurt, how many more wins would you guess we have?
Newman is not coming back. He's not cleared. He has not practiced. Is he redshirting and for sure coming back? Don't know. Don't have that answer. I don't know why he keeps putting 2 N's in Newman. New man in. How many more wins with Newman and Rob? 3. I'll go 3.
Yeah. Brent,
and probably a big one. Probably one of the big ones.
3. Well, then they're right there on the cusp for a tournament.
On the bubble, which is what we said.
I mean, you'd probably be on the right side of the tournament because 3
Depends
wins.
on the 3. If it's Northern and ECU, that doesn't move the needle any.
Northern, ECU, and
I think we beat Houston.
I mean, you'd be right there.
You beat Houston though, and then maybe you should have gotten one of the ones from Memphis, and then you still dropping one to NKU or ECU. So
You're right.
NKU's returning team, man.
Stop
Quality
it.
loss.
Stop it. All right. Any news on the next apparel deal? Since
No.
well, I mean, you know why people are asking this because
I know, but Bearcat Rich, don't you think if I had news on the next apparel deal, I would be breaking that shit across every platform on the planet to be
Rayvon set Bearcat's Twitter on fire with his edit that he had made where it's the Cats jersey, which they wouldn't have the rights to, by the way. The Cats jersey put with a Jordan logo, and they had the Jordan 1s in the background.
I tried showing Chad on Sunday. It was certainly there to break the internet, right?
Wes quoted that he thinks Jizzle is a top point guard in the class. Do you agree? If no, is he top 5?
That's always tricky right now because like combo guards get included in
point guards,
like the point guards. Let's look. So
Collier, Dillingham.
He's number 9
Marco
in the
Jackson.
rankings. He's number 9 in the rankings. I have not seen Layden Blocker that's going to Arkansas. I really liked what I saw of Miro Little. I really liked Aiden Holloway. I really like Marco Jackson. I don't think Robert Dillingham is a point guard. I would maybe move Jizzle up a spot or 2, but probably just outside the top 5, which is still really good. You get the number 6 or number 7 point guard in the country. Everybody's looking for a point guard. You get a top 10 guy, that's recruiting your ass off. That's what I'll say to that.
Yeah, you just got to look at the teams. I mean, the top
NIL-ing your ass off.
You don't need a ton of NIL for a kid that his family has,
I know. I'm just being a
Hall of Fame NFL
kind of generational wealth. Like Edger and James made a lot of fucking money.
He did. He was good.
Ryan,
I remember.
Ryan, did you laugh halfway through this last question as Chad was looking stuff up because you looked up the Rayvon Griffith edit?
No,
I've already
seen
the Rayvon Griffith edit.
Okay.
What is it?
I just saw Ryan laugh as we had just been talking about the Rayvon Griffith edit, and I didn't know if he was looking that up.
No, I
Rayvon
laughed because Bolden texted me and he's listening to the podcast.
Even
when are we gonna get him on and just have a absolute disaster of a night?
Oh,
it's just,
dude, he'll do
we'll
it.
Just sit out. We'll sit out, and Ryan and Kyle will just.
Kyle would be a great.
Bolden
Kyle
come
would be
on
a
now,
guest.
Dana Beer style. Just end of
We'll make Brent moderate, and it's just gonna be Brent,
There
Bolden,
he
and Royer. And I'll pop in from time to time.
Every 10 minutes we got to finish a beer.
And I'll look up graphics and
a non-Michelob Ultra.
Bolden's in the chat. Look at the boy.
Hey,
all right.
Kyle, soon, Kyle, soon.
That's the basketball portion of the mailbag. And
no. Bolden and Royer do Beer Olympics outside Pro Day.
Bolden, it'll be like that night at Mike's house, bro. We'll do it like that.
And everybody inside is going to be like, "Where is Brendel just not covering Pro Day?" And I'm like, "I got something better. Like, you guys have fun."
What about JP also?
John Peter?
No, is it what's the dude who's
Ty sponsor?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Ty's mild. Ty's mid. In comparison to Royer and Bolden, Ty's mid.
Ty has a lot of good stories. He has a great memory. He remembers all the shit.
No. I'm talking about like Ty in a Beer Olympics.
Oh,
Time.
Yeah, he you can't hang.
When I ran into Ty and Kyle on my way down to the field last season, it was, I'm not sure which one was more drunk.
Yeah, Bolden loved pregame in those games, man. We'll just say that.
All right, and then the Banks portion of the mailbag, which I do have.
I did not see the Banks one today, so this is new to me.
All right. Well, happy birthday, Kelly. Rapid fire. First Bad Boys film or first Men in Black film?
Men in Black.
Bad Boys.
Haven't seen either of them.
More sugar.
All right.
Sugar.
That was
Men in Black. The first Men in Black was awesome.
If you were a wrestler, would you want to be a hero or a heel?
Really?
You know, Chad's a heel.
Really?
Is heel a villain? A villain?
Villain, like the bad guy, yeah.
It
Good
is
guy
a
or bad
villain.
guy?
A villain, yes.
Yeah, a villain. A civilian.
Shambles. He is in shambles today.
It's because he put the white hat back on, man.
Yep, yeah.
If he was wearing the white hat, he would be a hero. But today, he is a villain.
Yes.
A civilian.
Beta man.
Beta. Let's go. Alpha.
Ryan, you got hero or villain?
I'll go hero. He's mean mugging.
I would say hero as well.
My face hurts from this show.
I'm absolutely a hero, 100%. But
And,
my hero,
are you
my hero is so long that I become a villain.
Make them say, na 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 na. That's Brent's entrance music. Bum 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 bum.
Are you more God damn it. Are you more scared of heights or tight spaces / enclosed spaces?
Heights?
Yeah.
I get a little vertigo-y on heights to a certain point.
Follow-up question, Chad.
I don't like
Follow-up
this.
question, Chad. Have you picked out Kelly's gift?
So initially, I want your guys' opinion on this, so maybe you can help me decide. Ryan, so what I did is I threw it out to the people. I said, here's the GoFundMe. Anything that comes into the GoFundMe over the next 4 days, I will use to buy a birthday present for Kelly from the BCJ community.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, she was talking about getting some really nice sheets because she's going to be like when we get her home, it's going to take a while to get her back up on her feet. So she was like, some new sheets sound good. We're at about $1,700 that people have donated, which I have found can either buy a couple pairs of really nice sheets. I've also found this company that does like the sheets for like the high-end hotels, which I never imagined this, but they have sheets that cost like $5,000.
Yep, that's good.
Right, like Egyptian, like thread
silk,
count, like
Giza
1,000
silk.
Yeah. So then she mentioned today, like one of the vacuum, like robot vacuum cleaners.
Oh yeah.
So do you think we should go with sheets, or like one of the higher end like robot vacuum cleaners, so that when she gets home, she doesn't have to like worry about, like doing the cleaning.
That's an easy answer.
Everything I've heard about those things is they're a bit of a letdown, though, unless they've been doing some upgrades.
Ooh.
So if you're expecting it
The
to
Roomba.
vacuum, if you're expecting it to vacuum carpet well, you're going to be disappointed. But if
We have hardwood outside of a rug.
Gold. As long as you don't have dogs that shit on the floor, otherwise you're going to have.
We have
200
dogs we have a dog that sheds everywhere. But
shedding
they
is
shit-
fine.
shit
Shitting
outside.
is the problem.
No, they
If you
shit
have
outside.
if you have an animal that shits on the floor, you're going to have an investment ruined. I
What
speak
is-
that from firsthand experience.
That dumbass robot ate the shit
Ate
right
the
up
poop?
and
Picked it on up.
They're not smart enough yet.
robot dumb.
Oh, so
This
what,
did it
what's
taste good.
so here's what I'll say on sheets. So when she had her first transplant back in the spring of 2018, I went and got a really nice set. They were like, I think they were like $320. A really nice set of like Egyptian sheets, Egyptian cotton, like high thread count sheets. And when I put those sheets on our bed, we had been normal people, right? You buy like the $75, $100 set of sheets, and they're okay. Like they serve the purpose. And then we put those $350 sheets on the bed when she got home from the hospital. And we both crawled into that bed for the first time that night, and we're like, oh, this is why people spend a lot of fucking money on sheets because it changes your sleep experience. And sleep is pretty fucking important. And at that point in time, she needed as much rest as humanly possible. We since have are you guys familiar with Sheiks?
No.
So they're like dry fit, like high end athletic quality dry fit sheets. And they keep you cool and they like you don't sweat and they're awesome. We've used Sheiks ever since we bought the first pair of Sheiks. But I've looked like in our price range, what we're looking at, like we could probably get 2 sets of sheets for like $700 each, which would get us right up to that like $1,500 range. And that way you've always got like you take one off, you wash it, you put one on, and then when it's time, 10 days, 2 weeks. I think that's about the right time for sheets, right? 2 weeks. Some people say a week.
We do every week.
In college, I would do every 4 months sometimes.
College, I didn't even use a sheet for a while.
Yeah. We're
Mattress
pretty
on
much
the
like
ground.
every 2 weeks. Like every 2 weeks we change the sheets.
You're a
But
clean
if you get
freak, man.
if you get 2 sets, then you've just got one that you put on, you take the other one, you throw it in the washer, then you've got them ready for when it's like, all right, we need to change sheets. So like I don't know the cost of the vacuum things. Maybe we could do like a $1,200 vacuum and like a $500 set of sheets where she gets one of each.
I mean, you can get them for like $300-$400.
Oh, really? Good ones?
Yeah.
Like good ones?
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's basically just getting the dust and fur off your floor, off your hardwood.
Okay. I have great pillows. Like we found these bamboo sheet pillows or like bamboo pillows that are phenomenal that I love. And she loves too. So maybe it's a mix of a really nice set of sheets and the vacuum that takes care of the living room.
And the final question in the mailbag: are there any interesting items that coaches had that were superstitious? I'm going to assume this is largely aimed at you, Ryan.
That stupid fucking team sweater vest or vest.
The wannabe Jim Tressel sweater vest.
He tried to upgrade it. He tried to stylize it where it was
the
like
dry, like the little dry tech.
the dry fit. Yeah, the dry tech sweater vest.
I think that might be it. That we all had at Cincy. I mean, my coach in high school never wore pants, and it would be like -20 degrees out. He'd wear shorts in every game. That's about the only other tradition I have experience with.
I thought you just meant it like
yeah,
he had boxers.
Yeah,
on
he had his C and B was out. calling plays.
I just wanted you to say he wore like a singlet to practice or something.
That would be thick, like wrestling thick. He
Oh,
just
yeah.
wore his singlet out to practice.
Yep. That would be
Picturing that is hysterical.
screaming his ass off at you in a fucking singlet.
Well, you know, if he did it, Brady would also
Hey!
do it, right? it would be both him and Brady next to each other in matching singlets.
The Steiner brothers. We've joked about them as the Steiner brothers before.
And they wouldn't wear headphones. They'd have those little helmet things.
Yeah, the wrestling helmets.
Oh, that's
So
the
they didn't get
mailbag.
cauliflower ear.
That's the mailbag. Get us out of here, Brent.
What a great show. My face hurts. That was fun.
AAC tournament is this weekend, believe it or not. Basketball coming to you Friday, 3:30. Temple Owls. There is spring practice for the football team, also on Wednesday and on Thursday. Aaron
So
will be
Friday should be interesting. I've got radio. I'm in for Mo at 3:00 on Friday. So I'm going to be live on air watching the UC Temple game, which is just going to be stream of consciousness, right? Like
the way
we're just
Temple's
gonna
been
all
playing
watch the-
UC over the last 2 years.
we're just
man.
going to all watch the game together. There's going to be no sports talk.
Barstool energy. You gonna get Frank the Tank on there to do
Well-
a hot dog review?
Oh yeah.
I think the thing is like
Well, no,
iHeart owns the rights to
Bearcat
the
got
radio
pretty
broadcast. So
Invite Bangalorian and Austin into the studio to watch together.
Oh man.
Yee.
but we will have
I'm
practice.
sorry,
coming
Brett.
good radio.
You
Brett
should
and I were
truly
doing our best Frank the Tank impersonations. I didn't really catch that.
Those are pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Not too
The New
bad.
York Mets are done.
Was it the Mets, the Dolphins? All right. But yeah, basketball, football this week, fully loaded week of content. Make sure you stay tuned in to BCJ, BearcatJournal.com, and everything else. We'll get it all to you here. But yet again, for my broadcast partners, quick shout out as well to Danco Transmission and Auto Care. Shout out as well to Quick Paper Supply. But for my broadcast partners, friends, pals, Aaron Smith, Chad Brendo, and Ryan Royer, I am Brent Young. Yet again, another fantastic BBP presented by BearcatJournal.com.